A platform in which we give growing entrepreneurs a chance to share their business ideas, to share what they're doing in the community and what they want to do, and to network with the individuals that are here with us. Okay, so the end goal is to get Leroy to know Dalma, Alwyn to know Praise, and so forth, to intermingle so we can be able to know what we are doing and to hopefully help each other grow in the things that we do. Okay. And with that in mind, I'm going to hand over to Thierry, okay, who is going to have the next part of our program. And I would, I can't say so much, like speechless. There's so many things that Thierry himself has done for the community. So that's good. That's good. That's where you stop. These are the effects of having kids, and it's not sleeping. So it's not being speechless, it's sleepless nights. All right, so good evening, everyone, once again. And I'm glad I didn't get asked to come up and do that game because, after the second sentence, I was blank. I was like, hey, what is the box doing here? So, you can feel the sound of the Lord from me, John. Thank you. So tonight we've got a lot to celebrate. Right? Firstly, we're back after a bit of a hiatus, 2 months out of the game. And thank you to all those guys who are sending threats to our inboxes. Benedict, I'm looking at you. I now know that if I ever get in trouble, Benedict's my lawyer. Like he's like, he was telling me terms on, we can sue you. What's that term, Benedict? What's the term that you can sue people? This is something, man. When I learned some English, I'm not going to miss this again, all right? But tonight is worth celebrating because, like Tate rightly said, we're really about creating opportunities for each other. We're about giving entrepreneurs as much as they need to get to a point where you're courageous enough to start, but more importantly, you're equipped enough to stand a chance at winning and succeeding in what you're doing. And what we've been doing over the last couple of months is finding people that are either doing something right in business or who are not allowing themselves to give up on something that's working well, or more importantly, who are supporting the ecosystem in our city grow. Now, this gentleman who we've got here tonight I don't even know how to start to describe it. Like, I don't even understand the work he does, but all I know is when he calls you, you're going to have a smile on your face. If Ron ever calls, after that call, you smile. I remember about 2-3 years ago, he gave me a call. I was in Caribbean. He's like, "Hey, Terrence, how's it going, man?" I'm like, "Good." He's like, "Are you in Bulawayo?" I'm like, "I'm not sure." He's like, "Oh, okay. Is there someone in Bulawayo who I can meet?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's my team." And he's like, "Cause I've just lined up an interview." What's it, the ambassador? Yeah. The ambassador. He's like, "I've got the ambassador and director, and I wanted to come and meet with you and discuss how we can do something." And I'm like he had no reason to call me and ask me and tell me about it. Like we had met a couple of times, but you have someone who keeps an eye on what everyone is doing, and when he sees an opportunity to put you in front of decision makers, he takes it. And even when I wasn't around, can you imagine how many times did you have someone say, "Oh, are you here?" And they say no, and then they say, "Okay, it's fine, it's gone." But he said, "Hey, is there someone else I can make that can stand in your place so we don't miss this opportunity?" So can you guys help me welcome Ron as he comes on stage and talks to us about some amazing stuff that they're doing. I'll give you mine.
Thank you. All right.
Now we're talking. So Ron, before we go on this journey that we're about to go on, do you mind sharing with the community the many things that you do so we can just get a feel of who you are before we start talking about what you've got for us?
Okay. All right. Yeah. Where do I start? So, first of all, I'm the Arts Projects Coordinator for British Council, and that means that I put together an arts program for Zimbabwe and also part of the program that we do in Sub-Saharan Africa because Zimbabwe is one of the priority countries of the British Council, especially in South
Hold on,
Africa.
hold on. We are one of them.
The priority country.
You guys said we are a priority country.
Yes.
Out here, you guys complaining, hey, no one sees us. Say that again for the people in the back.
Yeah, Zimbabwe is a priority country of the British Council. That's why you find a lot of colleagues and staff of British Council in Zimbabwe also have an element of work that they're doing in the region or even in Southern Africa cluster. So I guess that's a way of maybe Britain validating either its performance of Zimbabweans or education or even just the work ethic that we do have in terms of really trusting us to deliver their work even beyond our own borders. In British Council, as I mentioned, I work in the arts, and beyond that, I'm a trained journalist. I actually used to work for Newsday at some point as a journalist there. So you might have seen my name on Newsday.
All right.
And and also prior to joining British Council, I tried to start my own hub called Arts Hub Zimbabwe.
Arts Hub.
Yeah. I actually successfully pitched for a grant from British Council. That's how I did it. Yeah. That's how I actually linked with them initially.
Wow.
Then eventually I was recruited by them. So that's in a nutshell my story prior to joining them. And I had also developed some links with artists around the country, and especially in Bulawayo, and those who were working primarily in theater and also in visual arts. And and also during that moment of going around looking for funds, and even after pitching to the British Council, I got an opportunity to go to the UK and see some hubs there and also South Africa, and immerse myself in that business of the arts. And I think that was quite necessary in giving me the experience and knowledge that informed what I now do at British Council, because I've seen how artists can be successful if they take their craft seriously as a business. Okay. And I've seen that working in South Africa and in some point. And the nice thing is that countries like Britain also see the value in Zimbabwe and notice that our artists and creative entrepreneurs, as they call it, have potential to actually contribute to the GDP and economy of Zimbabwe, and also just be possibly even the next millionaires. Yeah. So the next one. And possibly be the next millionaires. So that's what we're working towards, and hopefully the program that we're lining up for the next 4 years, which I will get an opportunity to just say a bit about, will contribute towards that. And I believe that the way we're putting it together, some people out here will be the next superstars of Zimbabwe.
Well, just by show of hands, how many of you consider yourselves creative? Okay, by show of hands, nice and high. You know, I've got Ronnie just said 4-year program that says money. In my head, that says opportunities to get where you need to go. All right. Nice and high, guys. Nice and high. Okay. So how many of you, keep your hands up, how many of you have actually used your creativity to create something? Are the hands still up?
I'm now even more yet.
Need I remind you, we are in a church. I'm looking at some of your, and I'm thinking we needed a pastor here. Right? By any chance in your endeavors, did you ever get into the church? Now, with your hands held up high, how many of you have sold what you are creating? All right, you're selling it? So the hands started going down. So what are you creating the things for? Like, are you creating it for a bill? Like, wow, that's beautiful. Let's put it in the bank. Let's go. All right. How many of you who are creating the things you created would really do with a bit of help in figuring out what can you do to get it to as many people as possible and as viable as possible? How many of you would appreciate that kind of information? Right? And then by show of hands, how many of you have applied or gone on the British Council website ever in your life? Remember they said Zimbabwe is a priority area? You know what priority means? Priority means you don't have to work as hard to get their attention. You get me? So I just want to say something before we give you the stage, right? Is that one thing I've learned in my very short life is that a lot of the times when we look at our lives and think there are no opportunities or there's a shortage of opportunities, we are lying to ourselves. What I've begun to believe is we don't have a shortage or the absence of opportunities, but what we do suffer from is a lack of an awareness of the opportunities that are around us. Are you with me? So when we begin to open up our eyes and allow ourselves to invest in getting to find out where my breakthrough could be, it's coming to events like this. It's going on websites like theirs and sitting with people like him that should be amazed at how nothing will change, but everything will change. Are you with me? So I want to give you the stage, John, because I know you've got stuff that, we're so stoked with. Like I said, he's got a heart for this. He could have just sat in his office and said, you should just go on the website and figure it out. But he was willing. We reached out to him and said, look, we want to have conversations with you so that more and more of our people know what's happening in the city and know how they've been set up for success. So over to you, my brother.
Okay, thanks. Wow. So as he has said, there are a bunch of opportunities that we do provide, especially for creative entrepreneurs. Initially, what the British Council used to look like is the arts department used to work with artists for art's sake. So what we used to call it was just we're doing art for art's sake. Like if you are a visual artist, you make paintings, we'll support you to make those paintings at home. But now what we notice is that despite all of those supports or many grants or whatever that will give maybe for you to set up an exhibition or for you to get the material to do your craft, whether if you're a musician, getting that money to go and record some music or whatever. It will make you actually have that art, but then it might not really sustain you. So what we had now noticed from some research and stuff that we've done is that what's much more viable is to focus more on creative entrepreneurship. For creatives to now start thinking or taking themselves as a business and moving forward in that way. So from the research that we had done, we had also noticed that a lot of creatives actually have that skill, but they don't have the business knowledge. So we partnered with Microsoft some years back, I think this was 2019 going on to 2020, and came up with what was initially called the Microsoft e-learning program, where Microsoft and their gurus of business in I think it's Europe or so, had come up with this program that gives you the basic essential things that you should know as a startup or as someone who wants to do business, especially in the creative sector. So that item was put together sort of like a curriculum, and this curriculum was paid for by the British Council because initially Microsoft was doing this as, and it still is doing it as a business, and it's something that you pay for if you want to do. So we've already paid for people to do that and access it for free. It's online, and and if you want, you can just go on to British Council on social media or even our website and just look at it. Because now we've changed the name to So Creative e-Learning because we really want to focus on that creative aspect. Because we've noticed that there's that gap that exists, especially in sub-Saharan Africa, where a lot of young people are creative but are not really making the most out of that. So you can do that course for free. And what we're going to do, we've got this 4-year-long partnership that we're doing with the Swiss Embassy, where we are going to be supporting artists in various elements. So this is called the Creative Enterprise Collaboration Program. So as you can see from even the shifts in names, that you won't really hear much about the word art in it because we're looking at art as a creative enterprise. Or the art industry as the creative economy. So for the next 4 years, we'll be working with this embassy to deliver the So Creative e-learning program, which is what that curriculum is. It roughly can take you, it's online, all of it, online learning. It can take you maybe at most 8 hours if you're going to sit and do it that one. 8 hours to go through all of it and you get your certificate at the end. On top of that, what we're going to do is we're going to have a project partner that will be going around Zimbabwe, delivering this also as classes, partnering with universities. And this should be from anytime from even next week. That's when you will see the call out for us looking for that partner. That partner could actually be one of you guys. Yeah, who will then go through that course, be skilled yourself in it, and then cascade those skills to a bunch of other people. And what I would encourage you guys to also do is when whoever that partner is comes to Bulawayo and sets up the training, yeah, I'll just share with Thierry the link or whatever to apply to be a part of that. Because what that will mean is that you will get your certificates and actually we'll set it up in a way that you will also, it will be like a networking opportunity where we'll call some people from the industries where you can talk to them and also speak more about what you have already learned or read about online in the course. So that's like the more maybe practical offer that we're giving through our So Creative Learning course. Then there are also some grants that we'll be doing. So these ones will be looking specifically in what also our research showed were key art areas of Zimbabwe, which is music and literature. And also actually visual arts was also part of the item, but that will come in later. So for now, because we're already working with the Swiss in what we call scripts and bars, I don't know if any of you guys have heard of scripts and bars, which was a program which we're doing with a partner, K Media Africa, based in Harare, where we were delivering collaborations with young artists who are in music and literature to work together. There's this amazing item called the Digipoem. I would have brought a sample of it, but then, yeah, due to some technical glitches, I wasn't able. But where animators come together with poets, the poet records themselves reciting whatever their poem is, and the animator then translates what their vision of that poem is into something that you can see. Then it comes out quite nice. So it was quite impactful because those were items that even landed them some airplay on BBC, and also it got some features even in festivals in the UK. So now with that potential of Zimbabwean artists working together and coming up with things, we notice that if we can focus much more on the elements that are music by itself in what we are going to call Music Connects Africa. We've already launched it in Tanzania and it's coming to Zimbabwe. And for the next 4 years, the musicians in various levels, from the promoters, the singers, even the producers, everything, will then get an opportunity to do that business skills. But also this one will have grants now, an opportunity to get some grant funding to kickstart whatever you are going to want to do as a business within that program. So of course, no grant just comes mahala like that. You will have to pay for it if you are part of that program, which is good because we're specialized. So you guys are used to this stuff or have seen this stuff. So I'm very sure you guys, if you are going to be part of Music Connect and you want to pursue a career in either music management, promotion, or whatever, you will probably be part of the successful futures. Then we're also going to do the same thing for literature. Anyone who writes books, illustrates, publishing and so forth, various levels of literature, and even poets, we consider them as part of literature. And people who even write scripts for TV, theater, and so forth. you can be a part of that program, which will do the same thing, upskilling you in business and give you an opportunity to think about what you want to do and give you an opportunity to get a grant for your idea. So this is all going to launch from January 2025 and will be the main thing that we'll be working towards over the next course of 2025, all up to 2028. So yeah, if you find yourself not being successful in those first few months when you are calling out for people to apply and everything, don't worry, because this will be an annual thing. The next year, we are going to call for a new batch of people to train in, and as it goes forward. So yeah, so those are our three elements: so creative e-learning, music, and literature. Then now, the other item that we're going to be working on is called Creative DNA. Creative DNA is mainly a fashion program that had been sort of like the birthchild of the British Council in East Africa, in Kenya. So people who were part of Creative DNA, because Creative DNA brings together models, designers, and fashion enthusiasts to create fashion, whether it's through workshops and also business clinics of fashion, and then promote that fashion. Because what we do through our connections in this program is give those people who are part of the program an opportunity to access markets. That is via things like your fashion weeks, via media like magazines and so forth. And then that will then kickstart your business or get you known and get you selling your fashion. So yeah, so the success stories of CDNA include models who were there in Kenya, ending up on runways in Rome, and also ending up on magazines like GQ, and featured in some modeling items. Forgetting the names, but also even as far as New York and so forth. So this will be the first time this program comes to Southern Africa, and it's coming to Zim. Actually, it's even coming to Zim before even this to South Africa. So that is quite interesting. So yeah, so that's an opportunity for any people who are interested in fashion to also just be a part of that. Learn new skills and techniques in fashion, because we'll have some industry experts from the UK and also from the rest of Africa coming to upskill you, whether you're already quite good at maybe that's your beadwork or whatever, or wherever that area of fashion is focusing. But then you might also open your mind up to trying new things and seeing or learning new techniques of how to not only refine your art creation and fashion, but also to promote it. And also through this program, we linked up with other markets and networks that are either also outside of Zim and those that are also inside of Zim. So we'll support your creative venture or idea of business in fashion through CDNA over the next 4 years. And just encouraging anyone who wants to also be a part of that to apply for that. That will also launch from January 2025. So that January we're gonna be busy. So our social media will have a lot of things going on. So it's quite an interesting program, because it's going to also revive that fashion industry of Zimbabwe. Because we do know that Zimbabwe has a lot of potential in fashion, and especially this region of Zimbabwe, where fashion is not limited only to clothing, but also it extends beyond that to things like crafts and beadwork, and also things such as embroidery and all. So so if you know anyone or a friend of a friend who does all of those things, that's a program that they can be a part of. And beyond all of these things, there are other items that we are supporting, such as I Wear My Culture, which is done by UOT, and that's been quite a successful program. And the documentary that he created out of that was quite amazing. It's also gone on to feature in festivals and it's won some awards. And that's just the impact of some of the work that we do. And it's not that we are the ones who are or like creating all of these things. It's the artists, creative entrepreneurs who are doing that. What we are just doing is because we see ourselves as conveners and people who connect the artists to other people who might just upskill or take them to the next level. So that's all we do. Because you are the people who have that talent, as I saw the many hands that went up, and what that translates to us is that there are lots of people that we can connect to other people who are either like-minded or even get your work or items that you do out there and known by markets either in the UK or in the rest of Africa. So yeah, I'm just hoping that I'll be seeing more of you guys applying for our opportunities and also just speaking to you guys again whenever anything comes out. So yeah.
I'll let you know. Usually what happens here is when someone shares what they're doing or pitches an idea to the community, we like to ask questions so that we make sure we're on the right page. So I'll kick us off. And as someone who's no longer qualifies for normal youth, I think I'm only youth in a particular political party. do these opportunities come with age restrictions?
All right, so long back, as you may know, British Council used to really be kind of strict with the 18 to 35 age group. But now we've really got to learn that even if you work with people above 35, and so long as those people are working with a community of youths, then that actually can also be quite impactful. So, well, quite open, but in whatever you're applying for, you have to really let us know how you're going to include them in that. Because the youth are they still remain the future of Africa, not just population. So yeah, your mind can actually connect a lot of young people to opportunities.
That's good. So I feel so good because I've got like 3 kids who qualify as youth, so I'm working hard so I can pay their school fees. That's how I'm including them in my project. All right, so the second question I have for you, and you mentioned that you had an idea to start a hub yourself. You successfully raised funding for it. Now, when you look at some of the applications and some of the conversations you're having with other people who may not be starting a hub but are wanting to raise funding for their projects, what are some of the mistakes we are making that are causing us to think that organizations like yourself are not interested in working? So what is, if you don't mind sharing some of the mistakes that you've been privy to see or experience?
That's a good question. I think maybe one of the common ones are people trying to start off big instead of even starting off small. You'll find that there won't be really much evidence of how, like the impact of the work that you've already done, and you are going for maybe 200,000 grant, and you're going for it alone. Not that you can't get that grant, even if you're an organization that just started, but the impact of the work that you want to do is quite great, and the human resource that you have, let's say that in terms of your team, is quite small. For example, there can be an organization that has staff heads of maybe 5 people, but they want to achieve a program where they'll go and deliver workshops all across Southern Africa over the next 6 months, and reaching maybe 1,000 people in each city that they go to, and they want to do it all alone. So that maybe you can be clever, because what I can also add is, in cases where I've seen people like that actually give grant funding, is they add another partner, maybe a technical partner or maybe a delivery partner that can come in and say that, okay, prior to us moving to South Africa, we have already talked to this company that's already doing it, sets the groundwork, and prior to going to Botswana, it's this one that we're talking to, and so forth and so forth. then that way, even if you have never really done a large-scale program like that, you can qualify for the fund because you're not doing it alone.
Leveraging collaboration.
So I think it's not really a mistake, or maybe I don't know if I'm really answering you, or I'm not giving you a solution.
But I think the mistake is sometimes you want to go at things alone.
Yeah,
that's 200,000. That is, the whole are sorted, school fees done. The streets will know I'm here.
Yeah, and you want to do it all alone without evidence of you ever doing a large scale program.
Yeah.
So that's advice for people who are maybe a small team and have never done something that's quite that big, that's leveraging on your partnerships or connections, or even people that you might not know, but just email them and just let them know that there's this opportunity that British Council is providing. They want to do a program that will go maybe nationwide or even beyond borders, but we don't have the capacity, but we see that your company already has some either venues or whatever there. Can we partner with you in this application and mention that you will be the company that will be providing either discounts of venues or so forth and so forth. Just be smart about it and then show us that you will be able to deliver this even despite having a small team and despite not doing it before.
So what I'm also hearing from you is there's a need to show you can deliver on the promise.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. And how do I show that? How do I show you that I can deliver? Is it me, giving my client lists? Is it me showing, having people do testimonials for us? How do we get to a point where you can actually feel like I can actually, come through on the promise?
Okay, yeah. I think it's a combination of that. Any evidence of any past work that you've done. And also just on the connections that you also have, or the networks that you have, that I can leverage my network of maybe journalists and media when I want to do any promotions, and I can leverage my network of also knowing some either hotels or something that can accommodate people at a discount when I'm going to do this event in maybe during ZITM and so forth and so forth. So I always tell people to never underestimate the power of networks, because that can take you quite further than what you can actually achieve alone. And if you feel like you might not be at that level yet of having those networks, don't be afraid of asking for a small grant. Even if it's something like 5,000 whatever, that can just kickstart you. And and if it's a good idea, organizations like British Council, US Embassy, and so forth can support it and say that, okay, this person wants to achieve something that is impactful. And another thing that, while on that note, is try to also mention how this will impact your community, how either it addresses a gap that exists or a problem. Because for us, when we successfully pitched for that grant, we were seeing the problem of, at that time, it was quite amplified that Bulawayo had a lot of talented artists, but the media and just the way Zimbabwe was sort of set up was that what gets a lot of the attention was either artists from Harare or artists that are based abroad but are Zimbabwe. But traditionally, it's not stereotype, but traditionally the belief was that Bulawayo is the cultural hub of Zimbabwe, but it's not really coming through, especially with the advent of new media, new technologies, and so forth. Because those organizations that really have a large following already focus mainly on artists from Harare, because those large following organizations are also based in Harare.
Yeah.
So hence us trying to address that gap for the promotion of Bulawayo artists and creatives, because it also culturally is something that we see value in, because this is a cultural hub, and also in terms of diversity, because what a lot of people get from the creatives of Harare is not as much diversity as you get from creatives in Bulawayo. Yeah. So they saw the value in that, and it's giving us an opportunity, despite us just, that was literally the first thing that we did.
Wow.
So, yeah. But then I've also seen a lot of other creatives start up like that, because they've just shown the value of supporting them in addressing some need that maybe is in their community. It can even be something that is in as small as maybe just Ntumba, or to say that people in Ntumba maybe are lacking a youth center or sort of facilities to do this, and maybe there are problems like maybe drug addiction and unemployment and so forth and so forth. Then the value of your organization coming to maybe inject funding into setting up this youth center or sort of or space can then lead towards an impact to that community, providing a space where they can come together and do this. So I'm kind of giving away ideas.
Wow.
But yeah, so if you can think about
coding afterwards,
but yeah, so if you can really show how this can impact your community, city, or even the niche or that network that you work with, or maybe like maybe for me it's maybe like artists in theater or so forth, then that can always influence an organization to do something.
Wow, so I hope you guys support what Ron's sharing with us, because it almost speaks to the fact that we must spend a lot more time than the people, figuring out what the problems people are facing, almost double the time. Like you get to a point where you know their problem almost better than they do. And the moment you become good at articulating the challenges before people, or the pleasure they are seeking and not getting, that is a key determinant to whether you're going to get the attention of organizations such as yourself. So I'm going to stop asking questions for a moment. I'm going to allow our community to weigh in. So this is how we do it. If you're new, if you raise your hand, you tell us your name, you tell us where you're coming from. Preferably don't tell us more, but it's only, I guess it is what it is. And you ask your question. And if you're not asking a question, please just say, I'm saying a comment, and make it as short as possible. But we'd really love for you to ask a question, because I think we do more learning with questions than we do with comments. Are we good with that? Excellent. So over to you. Man, how much again do people get in a grant? All right, and then the questions came. Your name?
Okay,
Where you coming from?
my name is Cherish, and I'm from Police.
Okay.
First off, I will start with the comment and the question. This KBD has been advice accelerating program. I was actually one of the artists who worked on it.
Come on, give her a round of applause. Show it up.
I didn't manage to get so like an animator and digital artist. My question was basically, after such programs where is the people that startup, is there anything else that you can apply for that accommodates you afterwards?
Yeah, of course. The nice thing is that I remember your work, Cherish, and also.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So that's a round of applause.
Yeah. So so I remember even the like life-size anime cartoons that you also had. I was surprised you also see a good idea. So it's just a testament to even the networks that you've been building beyond that.
Yeah, that's kind of things too much.
So that's quite good. And what would encourage maybe startups like yours is to then maybe also just come through and also either apply as now the delivery partner for a similar program, and maybe in your case like something like being being in the position of K Media, that you're now using your experience and networks that you can build to also assist others in getting to that place, and also at the same time just amplify your own business. And also what we can also advise startups that are like yours is that there are always some opportunities that British Council provides, even if it's not British Council in Zimbabwe per se, but also British Council globally, where you can also go to either it's items within your field like comic conventions in the UK, and if you want also any funding like around mobility, there's the Prince Claus Fund, which funds the mobility of artists to either showcase or even just to distribute their work beyond their borders. And Prince Claus Fund is something that we deliver in partnership with Prince Claus, anyway, because we are just like a supporting partner. So yeah, we do continue to support people who are part of our programs, either as beneficiaries, but now want to scale up. And we really love those stories actually, because we want to see your journey going through from being someone who just had an idea to someone who is actually running something that even generates income and employs others. So yeah, I don't know if I'm answering you.
That's it.
All right, that's great. No, excellent. Like, sort of reflect on that. Like, what I'm hearing from you is, sometimes it's not, some people may not appreciate the fact that we've got funds that allow people, I think we call it the mobility fund.
Yes.
Which is the aim is to get you to fairs, events where you can showcase your stuff. Right? And there's an ancient Jewish principle that I came across that really reinforces the quality of what you guys are doing. And that is, if you want to grow your wealth, you want to get as many people to know you, like you, and trust you. Because in the world of work, even if you're the best, if we don't know you, can we use you? Right? And if we don't like you, we may know you, but yeah. And if you never fulfill, even if we like you, we can't trust you to do more business. So as you guys allow people to go into different places, that's increasing the arsenal, the community of people who know us. And if we're good at what we do and if we're genuine about it, we eventually end up liking and trusting us. So thank you for that. And I hope if you're in this space, and I love the fact that you spoke about as we get into 2025, there's literature, I'm hearing books, there's the music side, there's the theater side, there's fashion. I think that those are so many verticals for each and every one of us. Just by show of hands, how many of us have been alive for more than 25 years? You don't need to multiply, just 25. All right, just 25. Just keep your hands up for over 25 years. You don't 25 years? Life is good, man. No. Okay, all right. How many of us, keep your hands up. Don't worry, guys, I said 25, I didn't say 40, so chill. All right. If you've written a book, keep your hand. If you've written a book, keep your hand. Oh, he thinks I said if you've read a book. So if you've read a book, I think at least now, if it's Zimbabwe, you can probably want to read the white school textbook. Alright? Who's reading a book? Who's reading a book? Or who's in the process of writing a book? Nice and high. Raise it up. Okay? This is what? 4 of us working on stuff. You guys realize that a book is the oldest technology that's still making millions upon billions of dollars till this day. You will. I'll ask another question. How many of us believe we've got something that we know that we can teach someone else and they can become good at what we know? Not masters, but good enough. And actually, it makes their life better. How many of us have something we can teach someone that we know that if we teach people, it could actually make their life a bit better? You guys see how much money we're leaving on the table? How many books by Zimbabweans do you know? Like how many? How many books written by Zimbabweans? How many? How many, Jay? More than 10. But is it more than 20?
Yes, more than 20. You are the
By Zimbabweans. Alright. So how many compared to other people in the region, how would you say we're doing? If you give him a mic, please, he's like, he's like, let's get as much as we can. Just go ahead, let us know.
The publishing industry is down at the moment.
Okay.
There isn't much content that we're getting from the locals.
Not much content we gave you locals.
Yes.
Now, how many of us have been to school before? Like, don't be shy, we got degrees. Alright, okay. How many of us, after we got our degrees, when we got into the world of work, we're like, what was I studying? Like, what is this thing? You know? How many of us felt like we needed to go to school again to understand what was happening in front of us? Do you know what's happening? Do you guys realize with the rate at which technology is advancing, our schools are not changing the curriculum fast enough to catch up? So what's happening is that we're being prepared for a world that's not going to exist when we get into that world to work. And what that presents is an amazing opportunity for people like me and you in the field to become the teachers and the experts of that field. That's your work. Because there are more and more people who are wanting to figure out how you do what you do, how you solve the problems you solve, how you've got to where you've gone. And they are willing to pay the price for it. And Ron just came here and says he'll help us if we are willing to apply to get into that process where we can actually begin to know how to write a book that people would like to read and build $1 million industries. Do you guys realize how many times, if you write a very good book, if I told you today that if you wrote your book, by the end of 12 months, you'd sell $1 million worth of that book, how long would it take you to write that book? Someone's like, tomorrow I'll be done. Tomorrow I'll be done. But you'll never know until you do it, right? And once you've written that $1 million book, how many times do you need to keep writing it? You just write it once, right? And you keep selling itself, keep selling itself, keep selling itself. You guys see how easy it is to begin to build one in the creative space. Right? Let's get, I think we had a question, a hand up at the back.
Hey guys, my name is Dylan. I'm from Cape Town. So,
I was
so I am hub lead at the NetBank Innovation Hub. We call it NetBank Innovation Hub.
Nice one, you know? That's nice. What are you doing?
So we teach young adults technology skills for free through a 1-year boot camp. So that's through web development, digital marketing, and user experience design. Yeah, so yeah, that's some of the things that you're talking about, technology.
Hold up. How many of you have applied for this thing in this week? Hey. So control activity is tough in these things. Okay, let's go. Go ahead.
Yeah, so like I said, NetBank is one that funded the innovation space.
Really?
I'm actually from uncommon.org.
Oh yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Right, so my question, I know you were talking about the arts, now the British Council is helping with that. And we are in the technology side of that. And my question is not mainly if we get funding to expand within Bulawayo, that would be great, since we already have 8 innovation labs as the case study that the program is building. But for Bulawayo, what I wanted from my particular hub is how can the British Council help us in connecting us with, you said, we're partnering with guys like from Microsoft and all that, to get the guys in with you, to interact with these people and see how the world is now moving towards, all this remote work as much as it is on the downside, now that COVID is down, but there's a lot of freelancing that is happening. Again, all this, yeah, we call it free labor, cheap labor.
I'm going to stop you because I think he's not enough to answer your question. So let's let him answer that question. Now I want to hear the answer so bad. Go ahead.
All right, cool. No, the nice thing about that is, even within the structure of the British Council, we actually have a department called Digital Innovation, which works with that. So they are part of the people who connected us with Microsoft. And even when we are working within the arts, so a lot of the elements of all of our work have digital in them. So you are not excluded, actually. You're actually part of the network that we actually want to work with. So also, like what I've been touching on and on is collaboration. We would also like to see how artists can also interact with your space. And plus, even people who work in digital technology stuff, they're actually creatives as well. Because those are the people who create maybe your apps and even things that people interact with, like the video games and all. So that's something that we also work in when it comes to digital innovation. And it's quite interesting because we, especially even for me, I haven't really interacted with those type of apps or spaces now. And it will be, even after this, I would want to hear more about this.
Ron is not just those guys who say, have you ever met those guys like, we need to do lunch, we need to talk. It's been years since you've Ron's ready to call you, man. So you're going to get your right.
Just also to kind of market us and sell. Our innovation hub is the most beautiful hub of all of them. We got calligraphy to actually introduce.
Oh, it's that one.
Yes.
Oh, is this? I think is it like when
Okay. We'll let us see. Take the back away from that line. Welcome. All right, so I think we got, Chief, we have one more question. No, one more question. Who's got a question? We had the Zambia Congress happen a few weeks ago, so I'm just testing out what it feels like not to listen to instructions. There we go, my sister.
Hi, I'm not seeing anyone from Bulawayo. So I wanted to ask, you mentioned that you also offer NGOs, help for NGOs. So I wanted to ask the type of help that you offer. Is it for registered NGOs? Because recently it's about made it quite difficult for NGOs to register. So if we operate without registering, can we apply for your opportunities in funding even if we're not fully registered yet? Because the registering process has been put on hold for most NGOs. So operating without really registered, but we would have to apply for funding.
Yeah, so can I just ask a clarifying question? So when you're saying you're operating without being registered, that means you haven't been approved as a PVL, but you are a trust.
Yes, we are a trust.
Okay, so you've got some sort of corporate entity status. Go ahead.
Okay, in that case, then, yeah, sure we can. I feel like as long as there's some level of registration, because we actually do have to have some sense of due diligence, because village council still remains, although I'm not saying you are part of this, but it still remains victim to some scammers at a global level, where people can apply for certain funds and so forth. Then out of just trust, they are given the funds, but never given anything. So that's the last we hear about it. So due to that, we in recent years also increased our sense of like counter fraud awareness and so forth. We just always have some element of at least some registration that you have done and proof of that. Maybe like as you say, as a trust. And trusts are those that also qualify for British Trust Fund. Actually, even the one that I set up was set up as a trust, and we got the fund. So yeah, you would be able to qualify for those. And the nice thing is that Zimbabweans are generally nice people. So whenever we give the money, I'm still yet to encounter an organization of people that would apply for any grants and got them, but just went away over here. So that really doesn't happen. So also in the data of the UK, we've also generally been classified as low risk when it comes to interventions here. So I'm guessing maybe so I will also kind of but yeah, you can still go there.
All right. Thanks for that. One thing I liked about listening to you is the number of nice things you say about Zimbabwe. Like, I don't think I've heard anything negative about Zimbabwe, and it's so refreshing to have that and put that in the spotlight. It sometimes tends to just focus on what's going wrong, what we don't do right. So thank you so much for letting us know that there are organizations out there that make us a priority. There are organizations out there. It's so nice to have something before South Africa has, like a fashion show. It's a big thing, and to be able to take that, and I hope we start to take advantage of our advantages and we show up for these candidates. So kudos to everyone who's showing up, and then whenever these guys are recorded, like you said, look out, January. They're going to be very busy. We got it first. He even gave us tips on how to apply and think about the process. Let's take advantage of these things. So I hear the chips are being cooked with life. That means my time is up. Can we just thank my brother Ron? So we good? We still good for a conversation, guys? All right, cool. Thanks, all my brother. So you got a mic here, dude. You need to get some sleep, man. That boy is keeping you up the nuts, eh? All right. Okay, cool. Okay.
That was very insightful. Thank you very much, Ron. I look forward to applying. I actually wanted to ask if I'm an upcoming dancer. I don't have rhythm yet, but can I apply? I'm a creative. Sure. Okay. All right.
So let's use the expression. It's interesting. Funny as it may be, I think a week ago we had what's his name? One of the more renowned dancers in our country. Tish. No, not Tish. Sean, yes. Sean was in town and he was doing workshops on dance. Yeah. So, telling people his journey. And you guys know that Sean is a first-class degree holder in mathematics at NAS. He was top of his class. Right. And he's been dancing for coming on to 18 years now. And the kind of stuff that they're doing in music especially is amazing. And I think that's something that we are seeing growth in Bulawayo. I actually went for the workshops and participated in a dance battle.
You've always had a thing for dancing.
I've always had
always had a thing for
So
dancing.
this is what happened. I danced, I lost the battle, but I was like, they were like, yo, did you show them?
You don't lose any of your body parts.
Then my body reminded me it's not there anymore. I slept through the whole meeting, man. I was like, my kids will tell you, I was like, my feet were up and I was like, oh, give me water. It was fun, man. And yeah, I won't do it again, but it was fun.
Okay, right. So, I'm sure you've all been wondering through the whole thing.
I don't think anyone's wondering. Just say what you want to say.
No, we've got these two awards right here, right? And just a quick, let you know what they are. These are from the recently held Afrofluencer Awards, right? And one of our own, one Entrepreneur of the Year. Okay. And in a bid to take advantage of his presence, we're going to ask him some questions. Okay. Alright, so if we can put our hands together for our very own Terrence. Alright. Terry, I've been looking at these, and I really need one of these. How did it feel to get an award, to get noticed for something?
It felt different, right? So like sometimes you get nominated for awards and be like, I think they want me to buy a dinner ticket, right?
Yeah.
But these ones felt different in the sense that, we've been doing a lot of things differently as an organization. It just felt nice. The process of getting there was a lot of people I think they opened up nominations, and when they opened it up, I didn't even know I was nominated. So I was getting people calling me and saying, "Cool, what's this?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Yeah. It was what was nice was not so much the nomination, but the number of people who were calling up and saying, "Hey, I saw this."
Yeah.
And what it showed us was that at least for the years that we've been in business, at least there are people who care enough about what we are doing that they'll check in on us. And some went as far as even sending pictures and said, "I voted for you, I voted for you." So that was extra special.
Right.
And when we went there, it was like an award show with a difference in that I've been to award shows where everyone who's nominated wins. It's almost like, when you go to those primary school races and they say everyone's a winner, it kind of sucks, right? Because like it kind of feels weird. You're like, we all gonna win, so
Why compete?
So not that I want to compete, but it doesn't feel like, yeah.
Yeah.
So this one was different because you had a ton of people who'd been nominated and not everyone was going to win. So you got nervous. Like there's a point where I was nervous and I'm like, I didn't even want to win this thing, but I'm like, they're going to call my name. They're going to call my name. And when they did, it was so humbling.
Yeah.
And then the last bit that really felt different was they gave you an opportunity to sort of say something about DJ. Yeah. And for us, it wasn't so much about, "Hey, I'm so excited, I'm the best." None of that, because I don't really think it's about that. But just the opportunity to say and thank the people that matter the most and share your message with people who are totally different, who are different, or who are meeting you for the first time. Like I said, remember, one of the world formulas we live by is you want to get as many people to know you, like you, and trust you. So for me, that award was a great place for different people who didn't know me to get to know me. And hopefully the few minutes I had with them liked me. And over time, they're going to trust me. So that was exciting to win that. And to come back home. And it was extra special because my kids prayed for me this time around. Yeah. And it's nice when your kids pray and then God sort of like answers their prayers. They believe in a bit more. So yeah, that was it.
No, that's good. That's really awesome. And interesting, you say you've been in business for so long. And I just wanted to ask, for those that may not know, if you could just give us a little picture of what you do and what you're doing for the community.
It's too much.
It's too much? Just simply,
maybe. So it's simple. We do anything and everything that can help people get to a point where they discover what's special about themselves. And then how to turn what's special about themselves into income and the lifestyle they desire. So over the years, that's taken the form of a financing company. We started off doing education loans. Then we grew that to include career guidance because we kept seeing more and more people once in school to show what they were doing in school. Then we saw the value of leadership development, so we got into that as well. And in around about 2016 2017, there's a point where it just felt like a lot of the stuff we were doing, we were missing something. And what we came across was the fact that a lot of us don't grow up being taught about how money works, what money really is, and how to keep growing. So we then started spending tons of time in research around what does financial literacy look like in Zimbabwe, and how can we build programs, courses, and have conversations around those things. So we added that as well. And in between, I love food, and I'm always asking myself, what is stopping people from getting to where they want to get? So in all this, with all the traveling that I've been missed, we came back into this thing called Feed the City. When we say let's start having conversations around food and see what would happen if we came together and started to make food, prepared meals and gave them away and found out what hunger looked like for different people. And hopefully from there we'll find even more problems that we could start solving. So it's a lot. Yeah.
But I think you've given us a clear picture. And in the journey along that, you faced a lot of challenges, I'm sure. And what's advice? Or can you tell us about the adversities rather that you have faced?
Advice, I don't know, but maybe I can share some of the struggles that we've been through. And I think I found that, when we started business, like some of the people we watch made it seem like it was this easy thing, and you must always be telling people when things are going wrong. And it wasn't like that, man. Like, I don't know about you. If you started a business before and you've done those spreadsheets, have any of us ever done a spreadsheet that starts with us making losses at the end of the year? No. None of us, right? But how many of us have been introduced to the world of little money or no money? So, I see a hand over there. Is that for time? Okay. So, okay, thanks, thanks. So one of the first challenges we encountered was when we started the business, and that was you share your idea with tons and tons of people, and someone says, you know what, that idea, that's a good one. I will fund it, you know. And then when you started and you're like, so it's time. Can we have the money now? It's time. They're like, guys, you know that when people say, it's a thing. My guy has that. Like we told me like, oh, I'm gonna talk to my wife, and talk to my wife meant it's gone. And there's some people who let us down when they actually. So I'm originally from Harare, so I moved to Bulawayo to start the business. Yeah. And when we started the business, I was hoping that I was leaving a job in investment banking, and I was supposed to get money from that bank. My wife quit her job as a lawyer, and she was owed some money by commission. And we said if we combine these two, we are good to start. Yeah. We ended up combining nothing because no one came with the money. Right? And we stayed with our parents. Let me be honest, we stayed with our parents for a year plus. That was a challenge. And for me, that was, in that year, the biggest question I was going to ask is how important is this for you? How important is the idea you are pursuing? Because that was embarrassing and tough. Right? And at the moments where I felt like giving up, and she had to remind me that don't give up. And then, you keep going and things begin to show. And then, two more challenges that were really shifting and at points where you thought, things shouldn't be this hard, man. Like, it's like, I don't think this is how hard people have to do that. I'll tell you, there's a point where stuff began to shine. We started working with this non-profit. They had a problem like one was sharing, and we understood their problem, and we shared that. The problem they had, they were doing scholarships to thousands of kids all around Africa. But they were saying, after we put the money out, it's gone. If it doesn't work, it's gone. Yeah. And we said, what if we created a sustainable scholarship program for you guys? And they liked the idea, and they gave us $300,000 to test that. In the first year, this thing was working. Right? In the second year, it was working. In 2019, I don't know if you guys remember 2019, what happened in 2019 with I'm seeing here. They changed the currency. Oh yeah. And at the time they changed the currency on us, we were now running $1 million business with less than 10 people in the team. And yet we were at that point where you almost feel like you could almost say, Mama, I made it. And they just changed the currency. And I saw working capital in the millions lose 90% of its value by the end of the year. And I was like, wow. And then someone would come in that year when things were fine and said, hey, Jay, can I buy 50% of your business for $1 million? And do you know what I said? What do you think I said? I said, no. I said, no. Do you know how I felt after 2019? I was like, I wonder if you still wants the business. But that for me was a turning point, because that's when I realized that at that point it was time to change leadership. It wasn't time to give up, it was time to start embracing new ways of doing things. And in that season I had to sort of say, I need to change the way I operate in this organization and give someone who had the mindset to get over this challenge. So for us it was getting to a point where something you've started, and you now know that with your headspace, you're not the right person to run it and just carry it. Swallow that pill and say, hey, can you run this? Can you take us through? And it was perfect timing, because the year after that, my dad passed away. So that if the losing money was bad, losing my dad was even worse. And then that was, lost my dad 2020, that's COVID. And we do a lot of work with schools. So schools and universities closed down. And we looked at each other and we were like, what do we do now? But as fate would have it, they closed down after the first term of school. And would you believe me if I said we had made enough money in the first term of school and we didn't have to fire anyone? And we just couldn't increase salaries, of course. Yeah. But we were able to keep the same team on board throughout that entire year, that no school was happening. And that was amazing for us because we had to also make some tough decisions because the landlord, I don't know why landlords did this, I don't know if you guys had this in your spaces. They increased rentals in COVID, like when everything's closed. And that for us was a turning point because when they increased rentals, we just got to a point where we now own the property. Like, it was almost like the period they increased rentals, we were paying off the mortgage. And we made the decision to say, remember they said we work from home? What did it look like if we built an entire office at home? Renovated the garage, renovated some of our guest rooms, renovated spaces, and we built an office. And that's what, in a big part, allowed us to keep the entire team. So what I'm getting at is, we kept getting these situations where doors were being closed, and just to the point where you think it was succeed. One of the tough ones was when now you're thinking, where am I going to raise money again? Because no one's going to trust Zimbabwe enough to change the currency. And in that moment, some of our team members said, what if we didn't do Zimbabwe? What if we just started? What if we did what we did but with no money? And I was like, okay. We started, and we initially literally changed our business from needing money to not needing money at all, but almost still doing the same things we were doing. And now, dreaming even bigger and even bigger. And what I learned in this year was particularly humbling. And that is sometimes we confine ourselves and our businesses to Zimbabwe. But there's a whole world out there that's waiting and wishing to experience what we've got. Okay. And one of the things that we need to do is just share with as many people what you're doing. And in the relationships that you have today, do your best to deliver what you promised to deliver. Because I'll tell you, there's a friend of ours at a school, and I'll say the name Tanti. There's a foundation that visited their school, and they said, hey, we've got a scholarship program that we're doing for girls. And we're looking for how many, like 3 or 4 girls in Bulawayo that they would send to a private school and girls coming to the town. And in the conversation, we were saying we want to grow this program every single year to have more and more girls get access to these quality educational opportunities. And Tandy was in the room, I wasn't in the room, and Tandy said, the stuff you are thinking of doing, you need to speak to Gillian, who's our CEO. If you can't get Gillian, at least get Terrence in the room to talk to you about how you guys can structure your scholarship program, with the very least a mentorship program. She spoke for us when we went in the room because of the relationship. That led to one conversation. And within 2 months, I was doing work for the Peace Foundation. You guys know rugby player Tibet Jordan, his foundation in Durban for 3 days. I was the only guy who spoke on all 3 days to a team of 80 young people on leadership, identity, and money. And I tell you, that has gone on to open more doors and allowed us to begin to have conversations with organizations. And we're talking figures. I swear, like all along I thought we needed to raise money. Now we're making money from helping customers who've got problems and we have a gift to solve. So I'm hoping in saying this, I'm not trying to show, I'm just wanting to show you that there's stuff that you know that you'll be amazed at the number of people out there who want what you've got to give. And they'll pay you what you want to get paid. And we'll talk about you to even more people and grow what you're doing.
Okay, thank you. That's actually great that you said that, because I was going to ask a piece of mind where I actually think no one else has ever given, but I think that helps.
That's it.
You got that.
And so, it's just another one. One thing that I've learned in the 40 years plus that I've been around is that wherever you go, whenever I go to a conference, whenever I get into a meeting, I always go there with questions. And get this, I even ask questions that I know answers to. And I do that because questions have a way of creating connections with the people who are talking to. It allows someone to know that you are paying attention. And it makes you memorable. So in a lot of these places, it's because I've always gone to ask questions as opposed to give answers. And that's all the doors for me. So yeah, I think over and above that, having people who can stand in as sponsors for you, who can speak for you when you're not in the room, asking questions is something that I've always learned. And the third thing is, don't be afraid to share your zero story. Like I am unashamed about the fact that I was so broke and I stayed with my in-laws for a year because there's some amazing people. I'm telling you. Yeah, where does it work? But always be willing to share your zero story before you share your hero story. That's it.
No, I appreciate the fact that you mentioned earlier on how Ron was in a room and he got to call you up.
Yeah.
And Tanji was in another room and got to call you up.
Yeah.
And I think that speaks to a greater part of what we do here.
Yeah.
Which is getting to know each other so we can, for lack of a, plug each other out in other rooms, right? So if there is a takeaway from that, is let's take time to work together, to get to know each other, like you said, to get to know each other and to get to work together. I don't know if I can add anything. Did I go through what you prepared?
That was perfect. I think that's so good. We should end here.
Yeah, that is
full explain. Okay.
So with that in mind, this has been our night. And Terry, they don't have to go home.
But before that, make sure that you at least get to know 5 people, guys. Talk to Ron, get his number, and let's make sure we take advantage of the opportunities he's given us. And our next pitch night, the team will let you know. Look out, if you've shared your number with us and your name with us, we're going to add you onto a group. And that will let you know when the next events come on. What we're doing is, if you've got events, I think there's someone who's got an event happening tomorrow. Are they in the room? No, I didn't get their name. There's an event happening tomorrow. They're not here. Okay, we shared on the, I think they shared it on the Christian platform. We shared it again, okay, for the benefit of people who are going to get added. But the whole heart of it is we want to create such a community that if anything's happening in the city, we get to know. Yeah, are we together? If we're doing any coaching, we get to know. If you do any coaching, let us know. Because we want to create a community of people that will come to your events and grow from your events. We good? We're good. Right? So if you've got stuff that you think you can give, let's talk to us. There's a team from Mamba Strategy. They can get your details and make sure that we get your information out there. Let's just thank some people. Oh, it's nice to thank some people.
I actually forgot.
Alright, so let's thank, where's the team from Mamba? Where's the team from Mamba Strategy? And let's just, you guys should come up here today. You know, you guys should come up here. Can we clap out for you guys? So Nate is the captain of this ship, and these guys are a remarkable team. Like when these guys took over running things, my life is so much better. Like Nate and his team single-handedly now arrange pitch nights. So they were saying, David, we are having this pitch night, whether you like it or not, if you're here or not. So these guys make things happen. If you're doing any event, and you just want to be able to focus on the event and not focus on how many cups do we have, is the light on, is this happening? These guys are the team to work with. You guys you're going to see them at the upcoming GLS. They're going to be running all the ushering and the coordination. You see them at sporting events. They're one coming up soon.
24 Simmons and Peace.
At base. So they, like, these guys are exceptional. They think through the smaller details that we often forget. So thank you so much, guys. We don't thank you as much as we should. Can we just give these guys a round of applause? Now, I don't know if we can get the sound team to come over here, but we're gonna, sound team, come on, guys, come here. We don't give you your flowers enough. Let's come over here, guys. Come over here. This is the amazing team from that represents Jabula New Life Covenant Church. These guys took time out to come and help us. And they give us the venue, and they even give us the tech team that makes it happen. So you guys just come on up. So we had a birthday, it was It was last week. It was like Saturday, right? It was Saturday, yes. And we've got Jono, Jay, and we've got the lovely Mashita. These guys are amazing to work with, and they're an amazing team. Thank you guys for always coming to us. Right, so it's possible. I'll keep it short. Come on, guys. I'll keep it short. He's our photographer. That's another photographer. So Pastor actually needs to go on stage for us to see him. So yeah. In the spirit of keeping it short. It's keeping it short, right? And then I think it's Educate, right?
Yes,
Yes. So the team from Educate, where I work, they're probably outside, they're doing registration stuff. But it's amazing to work with my bosses in China, but it's amazing to work with a team that felt like we need to do this. And if it needs money for the food, if it needs money to coordinate stuff, let's put the money in and make sure that this has a happen. So that's the team from Educate. They're not here, but you can thank me. And last but not least, Babatu Tatenda, thank you, man, for the day and the MC. Thank you very much. Now it's the good you're supposed to do. Alright.
So I have to start with this.
Alright, that's right.
So you don't have to go home, right? You don't have to. Yeah, I'm not gonna add 2 minutes. Okay, let's keep it simple. You don't have to go home, but it is time for you to
Get out of here.
Right.